So this video is aimed at you if you constantly find yourself judging your appearance. If you find that you are always comparing yourself to everybody else and generally coming up short, or looking at yourself in the mirror and just being overly critical of yourself, forever seeking more, never quite content, then this is a practice for you to start to work on self-acceptance. I feel like so many of us are overly critical of the way that we look, and taking steps towards self-acceptance looks like doing some actual work. I think we can understand it on a logical level, but we have to actually put in some effort if we want that to change. In the world that we live in today, I think it takes some hard work to overcome that stuff, to overcome the judgments. To start with, I think it's really powerful to start just becoming aware. Things to be aware of, like notice patterns that you may be falling into. Like there's certain times when you are being more critical of yourself. Are you almost stuck in a bit of an addiction cycle with, I wake up, I jump out of bed, and the first thing I do is look in the mirror and notice all my flaws? Like being aware of habitual behavior that is toxic is a really powerful first step, because then we can start to challenge it and change it. I think when it comes to judgments around appearance, there's almost two steps that are both really important. The first is easier. So first, become aware of what is coming out of your mouth. We can control that easier than we can control what is going on in our head. If what is coming out of my mouth is judgment around people's appearance, then naturally that will be reflected back, and that will be how I'm judging myself. So if I spend my days watching TV and being critical of the way people look, if I'm noticing, oh, that person's put on a bit of weight, like, oh God, what's she done with her hair? Like anything that's judgment, even if it's positive judgment, even if it's just like, oh God, she looks amazing, like she's been working out, just noticing how much judgment is verbally coming out of our mouth on a daily basis, checking in and trying to stop it. It doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. If we want to get over caring too much about our appearance, we need to stop making that a thing that we're talking about all day long. Like what you're putting your energy into is what you're going to become. So if you don't want to care obsessively about the way that you look, you need to do some work in not talking about how other people look all the time. Notice when you're saying these things out loud, check in and stop yourself. So that's step one. Step two is notice what is going on in your head. So it's easier to start noticing, when I'm with particular people, I find that we are judging, like we are judging the way people look. We are judging people's appearances. It's easier to stop what's coming out my mouth than it is what's going on in my brain, but we have equally as much power to adjust our thoughts as we do to adjust our words. We just often tell ourselves that we don't. If I ask you to imagine a yellow elephant, you can. A yellow elephant comes to your mind now, like you can do that. If you want to stop a thought, you can also do that. It's not beyond your control. You have complete control and power over your mind. So it's about recognizing we can, checking in and noticing. So noticing how often my thoughts are judging other people. Like if I'm at the gym and I'm sat there and people are walking past me, am I judging everyone on the way that they look? Am I saying like, oh, she's got a nice bum, her legs are nicer than mine? How much am I judging people around me in my head? And just simply noticing it to start with. Just saying, oh, there I go again. There I go again, judging people on their appearance. Like start to just bring awareness to the behavior. Don't be hard on yourself for it. Don't like beat yourself up for it, because that's only going to make it more tricky to overcome. Just acceptance. Like, oh, there I go again, judging someone else. Like, oh, I've just judged someone there. And then, yes, start to challenge it. Start to come into presence. So the best way to challenge a thought that we don't want to have is to come into a space of presence. So 2 very simple ways of doing that is, so I'm at the gym and I'm sat in between sets and some girl sits in front of me and my head goes to, oh my God, her bum is so much nicer than mine. Like, how do I get in that thought and get rid of it? Like, come into presence. So ask myself, generally the 2 things that I will do is ask myself, like, am I aware? And then when I ask, like, am I aware? I come into a space of awareness. Just look around me. Look at my environment. Like, there's a door there. There's, this is a lovely blanket. Look at my hands. Like, come to a space of just observing and seeing. I'm just here observing life. Come step out a little bit. And then another really good simple tip that I found really powerful is just ask myself, like, what is my next thought? Like, what is my next thought? And when I ask myself that, usually my head just goes completely blank. So it interrupts the judgmental thought. So we want to fuck them up a bit. Like, we get stuck in these toxic routines. We want to mess it up. So the best way to mess it up is notice that we're doing it and we intervene and we do something different. So we notice we're going to a space of judgment, whether that's judging ourselves or judging someone else, it's irrelevant. If we're judging others, we're going to equally be judging ourselves the same way. It's always going to be balanced. So we can either work on one or the other or just both. So notice the behavior and then check in and intervene it and become present. That's the work. And then another really amazing self-help tip if you want to start working on your appearance. So this practice is super powerful. I've worked with loads of women who have actually done it. Like, it's one thing saying you're going to do this practice for 30 days and then you do it for 5 days and then you say, oh, this stuff never works. I'm lucky enough to have had some really amazing clients who do the work and then see the results of that work. And I've worked with quite a few women who have done the full 30 days of this practice and had some like really life-changing results as an impact. So if you're interested in doing this 30-day challenge around appearance and overcoming being self-obsessed with the way that we look and overly critical and judgmental of our appearance. So 30 days and all you need is 1 minute. 1 minute of your time. Try to tie the practice in with another habit to make it more likely that you're going to actually be successful and achieve it. If you have a shower every day, it's a perfect time. So have a shower and then hold 1 minute. When you get out the shower, you're already naked. And 1 minute, set a timer on your phone for 1 minute. Find yourself a full-length mirror if possible. If not, as big as possible, but full length is ideal. Stand in front of the mirror, completely naked. Put the timer on for 1 minute. Your goal is to stay completely present for that 1 minute on the part of your body that you love the most, starting on day 1 with the part that is the best to you. So let's say day 1, my favorite part of me is my eyes. So I will stand naked in a mirror, front of the mirror, and I will keep my complete attention on my eyes. I will not look down. I will not look at my flaws. I will stay present, only looking at my eyes until the alarm sounds and my minute is up. And for that 1 minute, I will only say things that I love about my eyes. So I will look in the mirror and I will say to myself, I love that my eyes allow me to see. I love that my eyes allow me to see sunsets and my daughter and people that I love. I love the colour of my eyes. I like my eyelashes. I like the shape of my eyes. I like staring into my eyes. Whatever comes up, and if you've only got a few things, you can just keep repeating. If there's just one thing you love about some part of your body, just repeat that same thing again and again and again for 1 minute. And during that minute, your only rule is do not look anywhere else. Do not go to the floor. And day 2, you find the thing that you like the second best, and so on and so on. And you continue for 30 days. And by the time you get into day 30, you're probably going to be at parts of your body that maybe you don't like. but we can always find one thing to be grateful for that part of our body. So I've worked with loads of women who, for example, they get to their stomachs and maybe they've had babies, maybe they've got stretch marks, maybe they've got cesarean scars. They find that when they get to them spaces, they can still find gratitude for that, because those stretch marks are life. That is what created their baby. Like, every mark and imperfection on our body can still have something positive assigned to it. It still makes us who we are, and feeling into the positive just for that 1 minute is the goal. This practice is amazing at shifting mindset habits. So most of us are stuck in the toxic negative cycle of, I'm faced with a mirror and I instantly see all my flaws and imperfections. This practice is about rewiring the brain to look in a mirror and simply see your qualities. And after doing it consistently for 30 days, you will notice a difference. When I did it, I started to notice that I'd notice myself in a mirror when I was walking past one, and I'd have a thought like, oh, your hair looks nice today. Not like, oh, what's that big spot on your nose? Like, I used to instantly go into the floor and then zoom in on the floor. And in doing this work, I so powerfully noticed quite quickly how I would see myself in a mirror and I just wouldn't have those thoughts anymore, because my brain had changed. Like, we have the power to change our brain and our thoughts. So I really encourage you to do this 30-day practice. If anyone is doing it, then mention it in the comments and we can kind of grow together. It's lovely to have some accountability when we're doing these types of challenges that are long, and maybe by day 8 we're going to start not really being so into it and maybe want to cancel and quit on ourselves. So it's powerful to do it as a group, and then we can hold each other accountable in the difficult days. But it's 1 minute of your time, and I guarantee if you do it 30 days, you will notice a difference. So I really hope that you can use some of that so that you can feel more happy and peaceful in your life. Like, we waste so much energy caring obsessively about the way that we look, when really, does it even matter? As long as we're happy and healthy, why do we care?